LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network.
Go back in the right.
This is Becca Cottingham from LegacyMaker Sports Network. Denny, what are your thoughts on the new changes that they've made to qualifying with the new 5-minute rules that you have in place now?
Especially in the first round. If you average it out, they're going to have to get through 8 cars per minute. If you run 3 laps, which you typically do in the first round, that's a minute. And so that means 8 cars are going to have to be on the track at one time. Plus, you got to get a new round of cars in once those are done. So that takes an extra 30 seconds. Some guys are going to get screwed, and it's going to be bad. I mean, there's going to be people pulling out in front of each other. So that part is going to be pretty tough. It's just the mathematics doesn't, to me, it just doesn't work. But I don't know whether we're trying to fit into a TV window or what it might be. I'm sure there was thought put into that 5 minutes in the first round, but at this track, 8 cars on the track at one time, it'll be tough for some guys. It might be good for fights, though. You might see one of those Suarez to Benedetto things.
When you come here, do you have any sense of it being, you kind of being the host and trying to hold home field advantage?
Well, I don't know if there's any advantage for sure, but certainly feel like I know what I need out of the car to be successful here, I'd say. So, just searching for that feel is really what you do every time you come here. When you have especially the races that we've dominated here, that's a special type of feel that you have to have in the race car. So getting it out of the car, especially through all the rules changes and different balance changes, is the biggest task. But certainly this is kind of our wheelhouse of tracks, you could say, for sure. Yeah, certainly. It is a risk reward, and I've always pushed things to the very edge. And really, when I came into the sport, I remember having conversations with Wheels and Mike Ford, and I said, all right, so the speed limit's 35, and they said, yeah, but they give you 5 mile per hour buffer in that. And I remember my rookie season, I said, well, why do you set my tack to 35? Why not like 39.9? And they're like, well, we can start doing that. And I beat everyone on pit road like badly for a year. And so I've always been the guy to kind of always get to the edge and find that edge. And now there's not the biggest reward because everyone's dealing those tenths of a mile per hour now. Everyone sets their stuff as high as they can. But certainly, it has its rewards and it has its downfalls, certainly. Texas, I had a speeding penalty, and then I come into pit road on the final stop, and I had Clint Boyer right behind me, and I continued to push. And it got me a 2.5 second lead leaving pit road. So, there's a balance to it. It certainly has its rewards to be aggressive, but there's a time and a place for it, I do believe, and certainly the speeding penalties that we've had this year, we've had 3. 2 of them have been really unique anomalies. It hasn't been just kind of straight line. It's been accelerating or decelerating into the box. So there's some things that definitely could get cleaned up. And if you look last year, we had I think 4 penalties after Talladega, and then we didn't have any for months and months and months. So if you look historically, I do speed early in the season, and I typically get it cleaned up by the end of the year once I get more data points and understand where my limits are. But certainly it's mistakes that I don't want to have happen because it hurts the team. And obviously last week it hurt our strategy. Coming out on pit road there with the lead, and then having to go back to 20th is not ideal. So it's certainly, I've put my team in a hole where it's put us in tough strategy moments through the year so far, but we've had the speed and everything to rebound from it.
Sean Robertson, CBS 6 here in Richmond. I know you're focused on Saturday's race, but I want to get your thoughts on the feeling you had coming into your home track as the defending Daytona 500 winner.
Yeah, it's great. I'll always love coming to this racetrack. It's just it's, you know, it is home. It's one that I've been to many times, even when I wasn't racing. So it is, it's certainly the home track for me. But it's just exciting because I know that, you know, I very well could have a great weekend ahead of us, you know, and really focus a lot of my efforts on how can we go out there and dominate the race, not just win but dominate. And you know, really that's been the primary focus for the last 5 days, and you know, hopefully we put it all together for tomorrow night. But certainly when I come home, it's a special feeling for sure.
Motorsports Report. With the dominance that you, Kyle, Brad, and Joey have shown so far this season, are we on the brink of like a theoretical Big Four, or is it still too early to say that?
Yeah, it's just too early. I think that you really need to, you know, get into the summer months, and you know, it allows some of these teams to really make adjustments. I mean, I think we've seen really, even from the West Coast swing, the Hendrick cars in particular have made some pretty good strides. So I think that that's going to continue to swing and make, you know, teams are going to make gains over the next couple months. It takes a little time. You know, anytime you have a major rules package change, there's always a few teams that hit it right off the bat, and it just takes other teams a little bit longer to catch up once they see what you're doing. So, you know, really, by the late summer, everyone will have seen what they need to see, and they'll have caught up, and the field will be closer than ever. Then you can kind of determine, you know, who's what.